The people of that part of our country have been waiting for years and years for this road. And we are grateful that the road is now going to be put in. But we wonder why it has taken so long to address that matter, when in fact we have had other expenditures in infrastructure that have gone before this one. The infamous $180 million to Caracol, the road that is almost now complete from mile 8 to the international airport. The $8 million of Farbers Road, why did those have priority over this one? When in fact, if there was a cost-benefit analysis done, and I wonder if the government engages in such technical studies that are needed for these types of investments. Were there any such analyses done to say that $180 million spent in Caracol, to Caracol, is more important than the 47 miles needed for Sarteneja? So it begs the question, why at this moment? People wonder, is it because we're coming up close to elections? Is that the reason? Why have these people been made to suffer for so long?
So you ask why this government has taken so long to put that road. Senator Zabani, you should ask your party. Ask the PUP why it took so long for them, and why did they not ever build that road for those people in that area who time and time again return the area rep and his son and the government to that seat in that area.
We don't know specifically how much will be spent. We haven't been provided with that information to say how much will go for each bridge, how much will be left for the road itself, so that we can calculate and get an idea of what will be spent on the road itself versus the bridges. But I can give you two scenarios. One in which each bridge averages out to about $10 million each, and with other costs of about $5 million, there would be $75 million left over, putting it at about $1.6 million per mile for the 47 miles. I could give another scenario, Mr. President. If the bridges are about $5 million each, and other costs are about $5 million, we'd be left with $85 million, so about $1.8 million per mile. So let's say it's $2 million per mile. You can use that as a measuring stick. Farbers Road, 1 mile, would be $2 million, but $6 million more was spent. Caracol Road, 51 miles, about $102 million. $180 million, that's $78 million more. The airport link road, about 6 miles. If we say the bridge there is about $10 million, that leaves you with about $25 million for the road. $13 million over using the $2 million per mile. That adds up to $97 million within just these three. $97 million. The Belizean people would like to know why. Where are those funds going in just 3 roads?
So now you want to know about bridges and roads and projects and procurement, and what else you want to know? The proportional ratio of the hot mix to the sand and gravel, and how it will affect the salinity of the farms around the area. What you want to know? You're not an engineer. Senator Salas is not an engineer. If they give you the information, you won't understand it anyway.
The borrower shall not directly or indirectly use the proceeds of the facility for any purpose which would breach the Bribery Act 2010, the United States Foreign Corrupt Practices Act of 1977, or other similar legislation in other jurisdictions. Which Bribery Act 2010? We have no such act. There is a Bribery Act 2010 of the United Kingdom, as if that applies to us. The U.S. Foreign Corrupt Practices Act of 1977 applies to the USA and U.S. residents. So it makes me wonder, is this an attempt, poor as it is, that basically says that the previous section about not really having anything to do with monitoring, but we have to throw in there something on anti-corruption and anti-bribery.
There's nothing strange about that. That's basic. That's basic. International law, transactional contracts. Under the PUP, all the Ashcroft signed contracts had that when you had a dispute, you had to go to the London Court of Arbitration. Under international law, two Belizeans can sign a contract and agree that the laws of Estonia would apply. There's nothing strange about that.